G'day lovelies, welcome back. Tonight we are making the other iconic vanilla slice. I'll write the recipe below as always. First thing we want to do is preheat our ovens at 210 degrees Celsius. We want to grab out at least one baking tray with baking paper. We are going to need a 23 centimetre square cake tin, and we need to line it with baking paper. Now we need to get out 2 sheets of puff pastry to thaw, and tonight I'm using the Borgs again. Once they're thawed out, we want to bang them on the trays, or just one tray if you got it, and do them singly. So I only cook them singly anyway because my oven's small. Now normally I'd put another piece of baking paper on the top, sit another tray on top of that, and I'd cook them like that, and it stops them from puffing right up. But when I did the instant vanilla slice last week, and I didn't do that, and I crushed it down after. For one, that was fun, and for two, I reckon it was beautiful and flaky, but a lot easier to cut. So I'm going to do it that way again when I smash them down. Now also a lot of people have said, oh, you got to put your fork marks in it. Now when I do my homemade pastry, the fork marks are absolutely necessary. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to put the first one in right now because my oven's preheated, and I'm going to put it in for exactly 12 minutes in my plain electric oven. So I'll just do that now. Alright, so while that's cooking, what I'm going to do is put fork marks in this one, and let's see how much of a difference it makes. I'm going to put, how weird's that? And it didn't even, like normally they puff right up like ridiculously. That's funny as. Alright, now I'm going to stick the one in with all the fork marks. That's hilarious. It's like it's got stage fright because we're doing the other one different. Alright, so what we want to do now is grab a tray, and just gently we want to push it down. Now be careful because the steam that comes out the sides is really hot. So watch your fingers. Alright, and once we've crushed it down, we just set it aside and leave it. Alrighty, 12 minutes later. Alright, let's see how the fork mark infested one turned out. There you have it, lovelies. Didn't really make a difference. Which is what I actually thought. Yeah, I get that. So there you go. Homemade pastry, definitely the fork marks. The frozen puff pastry doesn't make a difference. Alright, crush it down. Be very careful. And we leave them sit there to go cold. One thing I will say is it doesn't go crumbly all over the top when you crush it down like the other one. It seems to stay whole in one piece. So yeah, that's different. Once they're cold, we want to cut them to the size of the tin. So I'm just going to like start doing it that way first. And yeah, just cut it down until you can fit it in. Alrighty, when we cut the first one to fit, we then want to gently take it out. Sit it on top of the next one, level it up, and then we'll just cut the next one and then they'll match. For the filling, we're going to need sugar, cornflour, custard powder, 1 litre, which equals 4 cups of milk, 60 grams of butter, 2 egg yolks, and 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract. So the first thing we want to do is get our 60 grams of butter ready, and we want to separate the eggs and get our 2 egg yolks ready. Once we've got the butter and egg yolks ready, set them aside for a minute and grab out a saucepan. 1 cup of white sugar, 3/4 of a cup of corn flour, 1/2 cup of custard powder. Mix them well in together. Now we just want to stick a little bit of the milk in, about that much, and we want to mix it through. Now we add the rest of the milk and mix it through well. Okay, once we've mixed it in well and we've got no colour coming up from the bottom, we now want to add our 60 grams of butter. We want to put it onto a medium heat, and we want to constantly stir it until it starts to boil. When it starts to boil, it will start to thicken. As soon as it's thickened up, we want to turn it right down to a simmer, and we want to simmer it for 3 minutes and then take it straight off. And we want to stir the whole time. I don't know if I said that. Alrighty, 3 minutes is up. Oh my God, that was a workout. So when it's really hard to stir like this, you know it's thick enough. Then you put it down to the simmer, and then when it's simmering, you just make sure you constantly stir it the whole time. My arm is freaking killing me. It smells amazing. Now we add 2 tablespoons of vanilla extract or essence and mix it through. Okay, now we want to put the egg yolks in, 2 egg yolks. And mix them through. Sorry, I'm going to have to do it this way, and then we want to pour it all in there. Oh yeah, baby! Can you see this lusciousness? Alright, and then we just want to spread it out. Grab our other sheet of pastry. Now I'm going to flip it upside down. As you can see, I've done that spectacular job of cutting it. Push it into it. Alright, the reason I've done it upside down is because we're going to do the icing now, and it makes it a lot easier to spread it. Into a bowl we want to put 1 cup of icing sugar, 1 teaspoon of margarine or soft butter. Now we want 1 passion fruit. So I don't have any fresh passion fruit, so I'm going to use the John West cans. I absolutely love these. So roughly 1 passion fruit is 1.5 tablespoons. Depending on the passion fruit, sometimes they can be bigger. So I'm going to put 1.5 tablespoons. Depending on the size of your passion fruit as to how much water you need to put in. So you might need up to 1 teaspoon of water. So I'm going to mix it in without it first. And I don't reckon I need to add any water. I reckon that is just perfect on its own. Alright, grab our slice. The back of the spoon, I'm just going to spread it all over. Alright, now I'm going to leave it sit there for a bit until it cools down enough. Now I'm going to put a tea towel in the fridge and sit it on the tea towel and leave it sit there to set. Oh yeah baby, 4 hours later. So I worked out why it was a bit smaller on top. The tins I've got are 19.5 centimetres on the bottom and 23 centimetres on the top. Why? Because they're a stupid tin. So I'm just going to cut the little bit of excess custard off and eat it. My God, mate, that custard is insanely good. Alright, now we can cut it any way you want. You can cut it into 9 squares. I think I'll just cut them like the normal shape. So I'm using a serrated knife. Also the bread knives with the little thingamajigs on them is pretty good as well. And I'm just going to take my time. I'll cut through the top first. Then I'll clean the knife and cut through the bottom. Oh yeah, baby! Oh my God, I love old school. Get your lips around these bad boys. I'll tell you what, mate. There we have it. The other iconic vanilla slice makes 8 to 10. Friggin' absolutely Moorish. You have got to give it a crack. Your family is going to love it. Thank you guys so much for watching. Have yourselves an awesome week, and I'll see you next Sunday. Toodles.